Hello and welcome back to another top five list. And I'm joined with my colleague again. Say hello.
Hello, I'm his brother, actually.
Yes. Also,
This is top 5 Arkham City boss fights.
and if you've never played this game, I did put a spoiler at the opening. So let's get started with our number 5.
Solomon Grundy. Those of you who don't know, Solomon Grundy is not particularly a popular Batman villain or well known, but his boss fight was such a surprise and quite a shock, no pun intended, that it was in the game.
One thing that actually shocked me was that he was in the game. He's found underneath the Iceberg Lounge. I never understood how that happened, unless he was just buried there.
Apparently, Penguin's Iceberg Lounge was built over Solomon Grundy's grave, apparently, and Penguin just discovered him while expanding the lounge.
So during the boss fight, he's getting shocked with electricity, and you, as Batman, you have to dodge his wrecking balls.
But you gotta destroy the generators. You cannot attack Grundy head-on until he's weakened after the generators are attacked.
And you have to use this is when you learn the quick-fire explosive gel, and you have to use them. And of course, it becomes more difficult, like the generators opening and closing randomly.
And Grundy's attacks become a lot faster. He uses more attacks. He gets more deformed as it goes on, and he releases maggots that you have to destroy, otherwise they'll blow up when they reach you.
You have to do this about 3 times?
3 times exactly. And once you do destroy the generators, Grundy is weak enough for you to actually beat him. He's one of the few villains that Batman uses lethal assault on, since he's a zombie and can't be killed permanently.
So yeah, very hard boss fight. He's obviously very muscular.
But the fun part is, after you kick Grundy's butt, you get to fight the Penguin, who gets taken down a lot easier than Grundy is. Grundy is the first real boss of the game, not counting advanced thugs. Technically, if you play the game right, you'll fight Grundy out of the first of many hard boss fights to come within the Arkham City game.
So if you have never played it and are planning to, be prepared to fight Grundy, and you will have to evade a lot.
Dodge his wrecking balls.
Number 4. Dr. Harleen Quinzel, or Harley Quinn, as the Joker called her. Harley Quinn is sort of a boss fight, and more so later in her DLC.
Yes, she's not a boss fight in the main story itself. Mostly if you get the DLC for the game, Harley Quinn's Revenge. In it, Harley loses the Joker and goes crazy, taking over his entire operation of thugs and planning one last revenge against Batman.
To the beginning of it, you play as Tim Drake trying to understand what happened to Bruce. Then it goes to a flashback to Batman getting captured. Then back to present time where you fight as Tim Drake.
Tim Drake fights Harley Quinn in a stealth boss fight that's very similar to Two-Face's, but the difference is it's a lot easier since you're playing as a member of the Bat family and not Catwoman, and the thugs you take down actually stay down.
And also she doesn't have explosive weapons.
Actually, she does. Her explosive gun that can kill you in one shot, but basically you're supposed to stealth it and beat Quinn when there are no thugs around when she least suspects. Like Two-Face, you gotta do a lot of silent takedowns, or you could just beat her and fly away before the thugs regroup.
Which is always fun to do.
Harley Quinn is sadly only in the DLC because she gets taken out by Talia and tied to a post, and doesn't show up till the end of the game after the Joker's foolishness caused his own demise. Harley Quinn is kind of tough, though, considering that she has all of the Joker's men who weren't killed during Protocol 10, and she makes it further by giving them snipers, armed weapons, and even Titan thugs are helping her still. She redresses the group as her own Harley Quinn henchmen, now that the Joker's gone. Unfortunately, Harley Quinn does not perish in Arkham City, and she'll be back for Arkham Knight one last time to cause trouble, but she'll be getting another DLC, where this time she's a playable character.
So
But
yeah.
yes, Harley Quinn is number 4. She definitely outranks Grundy on terms of fun in the game, considering Grundy you have to do a lot of evading. For Harley Quinn, you have to be good at stealth, which is always fun if you're playing the Arkhamverse.
Or if you're my brother. Number 3.
Ras al Ghul. Otherwise, some people refer to him as Ras al Ghul, but the game goes with Ras. Ras al Ghul is definitely another fun, but also very challenging boss fight.
His main boss fight happens when, after you drink his blood in order to gain the blood from him to make the antidote, you go through some weird desert as if you're high or something.
Basically, he's testing Batman if he's worthy of joining the League of Assassins.
And marrying his daughter, Talia.
But once Batman beats the trials, he tells Ra's that he does not intend to be an assassin, obviously. But Ra's doesn't take it well. Instead, you have to fight him now in his boss fight, which you're still hallucinating as Batman, and you're fighting in the desert.
Which is very difficult because not only does he just jump you with 1,000 sand goons and you have to counter that, he also comes at you, like in this picture below, and like the Copperhead boss fight in Arkham Origins, where he does one like slash attack.
You have to do a lot of quick countering against Ra's. He's very difficult because he keeps sending in sand goons, then he turns into a literal sand man and attacks you with giant blades and ninja stars coming at you, while you have to do quick electro tool.
But once you finish that, then you go into real life, where Talia talks about how Raz is dying because he's old, and pretty much insults him in his face.
Obviously he didn't take it well, and he takes her hostage, forcing Batman to save her.
By using a new tool, the reverse battering.
It turns out, though, Ras al Ghul was actually the mastermind behind this the whole time, funding Hugo Strange's operations in Arkham City.
Who still failed.
Unfortunately, Ra's died during Hugo Strange's suicide bombing attack on the tower, but knowing Ra's, she'll probably be revived soon, with the use of the Lazarus Pits.
Another Easter egg of Ra's afterwards is that after you beat the game, you can return back to the Arkham sign and the body's gone.
But Ra's is technically the true mastermind of Arkham City.
So we go to our number 2 on our list.
Clayface. People might not know Clayface that well, considering that he's not exactly another well-known Batman villain on account of his all-powerful state, but he is the final boss of the game. It turns out Clayface was working with the Joker the entire time,
And impersonating him for quite some time.
to fight the Batman and trick him into thinking that Joker was healthy so he could get the real cure while Batman was distracted by Clayface. Clayface is the final boss of the main story of Arkham City, and what a tough boss fight he is.
His boss fight is a 2-phaser. One where you're fighting him inside the theater, where he's a giant ball and tries to run you over, alongside using hammers and other tools.
And spinning clay at you in your face. Here you rely on the quick draw freeze grenades to freeze him, so to slow Clayface down, and plus you get to use Batman with a katana blade, since Batman allows lethal force on Clayface since he's not even human anymore.
That's more of the second phase. But yeah, it's pretty difficult because you have to evade him a lot, and at times he'll turn around and get you.
You can trick him into entering the explosive dynamite caches that Joker has laid around for Batman, and trick Clayface into rolling right into him, injuring himself, and helping you decrease his health. After you freeze him, you keep having to hack Clayface with the samurai sword. Knowing it won't kill him, it will weaken his health.
Until later, when the floor falls, then you go into apparently the Lazarus Pit, which was underneath the theater the entire time.
The same pit where you fought Ras al Ghul earlier. Here, Clayface summons minions to attack you, making it even harder. And you have to kill the minions, actually, considering that they're just clay forms of him.
And they're pretty difficult because they can outnumber you.
Yes, you have to quick draw freeze grenades again at the real Clayface who's trying to recover while his minions are distracting you.
The final part of it is when Batman jumps into Clayface, literally, with the sword and hacks his way out of him.
Getting the cure. It's unknown if Clayface is dead or not, considering that Clayface, what we see is he rolls into the Lazarus pit, but considering it's liquid, which kills him, he's probably dead, but some fan theories assume that Clayface is now immortal, but it kind of seems like he was already that if he can't die from physical attacks.
True.
But Clayface might not be returning in Arkham Knight, so nothing's set in stone.
Now, last on our list, our number 1 Arkham City boss fight.
Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze is the greatest boss in the entire game. A lot of Game Informer magazines say so themselves, that it's a very challenging boss fight, considering that it makes you think on your feet a lot. You have to use every silent takedown against Mr. Freeze in a very confined space just by yourself.
And if you think that's a challenge, it gets even harder because it's a lot of stealth work, because whatever attack you choose, he upgrades to prevent it from happening again.
He'll adapt. It is a smart boss fight indeed. Considering Victor Freeze is a genius, this shouldn't come as a surprise to you.
But it comes as a surprise to actually deal with him. Plus, he starts tracking you, which is another thing, sending out little machine drones to track you down.
And they will locate you, so don't think you're safe. It's strongly advised that you keep moving from Mr. Freeze, then come up with whichever silent tactic you want to use, take him down, then you have time to beat him up.
One faulty thing about him, though, is that he also follows your footprints step by step. He doesn't, look around, he just follows them.
Yeah, so he doesn't look straight all the time. He's tracking your footprints if you're hiding too well.
Unless he does see you, then you're basically screwed.
As an added bonus, you can lure him away or lure him towards you by attacking the frozen Nora statues he has all around his lair. Do that and Mr. Freeze will be on you and too angry to think straight.
Yeah, very challenging, especially if you are also one who uses brute force.
Yes, you cannot attack Mr. Freeze head-on. It is basically suicide if you try and use physical force, because his freeze gun is way too fast for your fist attacks.
An added bonus is that he also has a side mission in Arkham City, but that doesn't have a whole lot to do with this boss fight.
No, apparently the funny thing is his boss fight could have been avoided if Mr. Freeze and Batman chose to cooperate instead of being mean to each other and starting the fight already. But it was fun nonetheless, because it's a boss fight that really makes the player think. Very challenging indeed. But his side mission includes you rescuing Nora, who is given to the Joker gang by Hugo Strange, so Joker can force Mr. Freeze to conduct a cure for him.
Don't worry, this isn't the last we'll ever see Mr. Freeze again.
But Mr. Freeze is worthy of being the number 1 boss fight.
So I'd like to thank my brother / colleague for this again, and I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, favorite, whatever, and also feel free to check out my other videos. I'll be leaving links in the description below, and also annotations you can click on. Bye-bye.